Greeting Tezos Nation. Welcome to another edition of TezTalks Live. I'm Stu from the Tezos Commons. Joining me today is Beata Lipska, Baker and Builder Technical User Relations Squad Leader at Trilitech. Beata is joining us today to bring us up to speed on the current state of Etherlink adoption, Tezos' recently accepted Seoul upgrade, and what comes next in the ongoing evolution of the Tezos ecosystem. Hi, Beata. Where are you right now and how's the weather?
Hey Stu. The weather is pretty okay because you can see there's like a glimpse of sunlight still here in London, and I think it's we had a very bumpy ride in terms of having a proper weather this week. So yeah, a little bit of sunshine now.
Well, it's there at last.
Yes.
As we always do here on TES Talks Live, can you get the ball rolling by telling us a little bit about your background and your ongoing journey into the Tezos ecosystem?
Yes, so actually today is the day that I have a second anniversary working.
Hey,
Yeah, yeah. It feels like 10 years. It's in Web 3 years. It feels everything like it's 10 years. My second anniversary joining Trilitech. And Trilitech is of course London's company that's work very closely with Tezos blockchain. So I'm very proud of this. And yeah, my journey started as a DevRel. Now I'm managing a little squad, people that are extremely passionate about bakers and even more passionate about builders. So I think it's a good moment to kind of reflect on my little journey. So by heart, nothing changed. I'm still a DevRel, but responsibilities wise, I think there's more focus on strategy. Organizing some events like hackathons, for example, but also being very close to the governance and helping our technical users to help us technically to deliver amazing tech and, for example, governance. I think is very very amazing. Example of this because we get very closely with our bakers and work very closely with them to, for example, upvote some proposals, help us with Etherlink governance. We listen to what they need and how we want to operate moving forward. Let's say I think it's an amazing journey for L1, but also L2s as well. So not only Etherlink, but also Justice and potentially more L2s upcoming.
well, happy anniversary. And that journey, of course, as you mentioned, has led you to becoming Baker and Builder Technical User Relations Squad Leader at Trilitech, as I also mentioned off the top. Can you talk a bit about the role of the squad you lead and how it's helping Tezos bakers and builders operate more efficiently in 2025?
Yes, absolutely. So with bakers, because the baker community is really amazing, and me stepping in, I think nothing really changed because I just make sure that from the background and the processes are smooth. They get the information that they need before voting, for example, what are the features proposed by the core team, for example, how it can contribute to the ecosystem growth. And I think this is the main difference that um, I think we get a little bit closer to the community, and my teammates are active on Agora, for example. They address feedback. My role is just to, from the background, making this process a little bit more smooth and getting all the information from the core engineers to the bakers and potential builders. And I think this is one of the most important roles that I kind of stepped in because we already had great people dealing with the community, and I just want to make sure that their life is easier and better. So I think it's quite transparent from the outside world, but from the inside world, I think my role is pretty crucial in terms of making the processes. It's boring, probably, but yeah, I also got a little bit closer to the community, and I think the bakers community is so amazing, and some of them I speak quite often, and yeah, they're very supportive towards each other when there's any sort of issue, or they just want to talk about something. There's always people just reaching out and supporting each other, which is amazing. So that's the baker side of it. And of course, I think question of getting more and more governance, all the votes. I think it's quite impressive that the community is also very creative. They want to contribute, but also providing some sort of support for them is my squad main, let's say, responsibility. And what's next? The builders. So we already have amazing builders in Tezos ecosystem, but we also want some more people, fresh ideas, fresh point of views. So I think most important part of my journey here is to bring more builders to Tezos by, for example, running a hackathon, not only for layer one. I think Etherlink hackathon that we probably will talk a little bit later about is a great example of this, because we want to take care of people that are already in, but we also want to get some more people involved.
Of course. And I'm sorry to hear that you think it's boring, or that it sounds boring. But why is it important for squads like yours to be available to support those who have chosen to build and bake here in the Tezos ecosystem?
I think first of all, that sense of belonging part, because it's in a regular tech industry, people build because they want to make a business out of it. But in Web3, you have a very interesting community of people passionate about the protocols, passionate about viral. Um, Productivity, or they want to create some art, or they want to create um just a dApp that will be used by others, and just to bring a little bit of joy to them. There's a community of vibe coders that are there, and just you can vibe code anything.
Hmm.
And I think it's really fun to hear about those things, but organizing, coordinating, it's something at the back kitchen. Yeah, you want to have that backstage running properly, because you want people to have the best experience, and just stay with us. So sense of belonging is one thing, but making the processes smooth, I think it's one of the challenges when you have decentralized ecosystem, when you have a lot of people with different opinions, for example, or different struggles. And it's all about the human relations. Even though we work for tech, I think one of the key matters for me is to keep the relations with people, and bringing new people to the ecosystem, and making sure that they will feel comfortable, and maintain that healthy community is sometimes very challenging.
Okay. And your team, as you said, focuses on bakers and builders,
Yeah.
but there are several more technical user relations squads currently operating at Trilitech. What areas do they focus on?
Not only Trilitech, because TechRel is kind of an umbrella over different roles,
Okay.
and squads are spread in different entities. So my squad is one thing. Another thing is documentation squad, and there's and amazing people there, providing for me the most crucial part of the builder experience, but as well as baker, because the bakers, they also need technical documentation first. But every time I start a new adventure with some sort of technology um, that is, interesting for me, I always go to the documentation first. That's full stop. There's no other way to get what you need from the tech,
Mm.
and people responsible for this is Techrol doc team. And really, I every time I think about them, they're like machines. They deliver a lot of stuff. The documentation, every time we have an upgrade, every time we have um um for example, the upgrade, yeah, uh, there's a lot of moving parts in the documentation,
Of
especially,
course.
and coordinating it. Writing is one thing, but coordinating it, and making sure that okay, we have all the docs ahead, and people can just simply find what they need straight away without any obstacles. It's also challenging because we have Octa's documentation, Etherlink documentation, everything, like, it's huge. It's when if I can imagine it can be printed, it will be just like my house. So the amount of work that's got to be um, done, it's I cannot even imagine it, and myself, I would not be able to do it. Although we write blog posts together sometimes, and it's like, English is not my first language, as probably you noticed, and but every time I'm trying to write something, and I can count on their expertise, and the professionalism, and how much just a goodwill and effort they put in the documentation. It's just, I can learn from them. So big kudos. Especially one of them is in the US, and he's amazing. So hello, Tim. If you listen to it, like, thank you for being you. So this is documentation, and then there is a support squad, which is extremely important. Uh, so from the things that I imagine they help with, they're all over the place. They
Mm.
they need to jump on a call with a potential builder, or they also help a lot in our processes, because TechRow is, like I said, umbrella, and we need to do things together, although we're separate entities. But there's a lot of collaboration. So as mentioned, um, us and doc team, us and
Mm.
support team is, for example, we have a mechanism to provide feedback to our squad. So we manage the feedback inbox together. So every time someone's got a problem, they can just send a form that we deal with and get back to the users. Sometimes it's simple solutions. Sometimes we need to reach out to our core teams. So, for example, for L1 or for Etherlink, we just distribute the feedback, filter out, and make sure that the most important feedback is provided to the right people and addressed by the right people. So that's what we do with collaboration with support team, and sometimes they are able to provide the expertise when it's needed. So yeah, I think this is very. It's a pretty big squad. I think there's 6 people there, so they're very very efficient. So I think it's very important one, and there is also extremely important one that is slightly smaller because it's one person. It's QA. and Vivian. I'm saying hello to you as well. Sorry. So I think to make sure that the quality is there, and there's like a one person that will, figure out where's the issue. So when I was a software engineer, we had a little internal battles between QAs and us writing code. And yeah, I think it's on the case here, because Vivien is super friendly. There is no war, like of how much bugs or like vulnerabilities this would be found, because yeah, it's a different story. It's completely different nature, and he's the one making sure and testing everything beforehand. So I think all the strategy around QA role is evolving on daily basis. But technically, we all are QAs, because we use the tech that we develop, and we are also Tezos users. And if we find any sort of situation that, oh, this is potentially something that can be off, we use the feedback inbox mechanism and to feed it to the right people. So yeah, we technically use our own tools to make that information flowing not only from external people but also internally.
Okay. Well, for the record, I think your English is excellent. And you've described a lot of the kind of behind the scenes, though, as you put it, back kitchen stuff that goes on in order to keep the ecosystem moving along. But in addition to that, you're also doing some sort of public facing stuff. I understand you were heavily involved in a couple of big hackathons over the summer, for example, Summer of Code and Unite DeFi. Can you tell us a bit about what went on at those?
Yeah, so the Summer of Code with Encode Club, it was the initiative that we started good couple of months ago, how to tackle uh, uh, just a question of, okay, we want people to build on Etherlink. We technically never had a dedicated Etherlink hackathon. So like people could potentially work on other protocols, or just simply gets Etherlink as a part of bigger project, or there's always kind of like the distraction part, when I thought that, okay, we need a dedicated hackathon for Etherlink, with very specific categories, with very specific um, outcomes that we expect, and that we can support in different ways. So I took all the departments that are the strongest in the ecosystem, in my opinion, especially around uh, Etherlink. So DeFi, I think it's super strong on Etherlink, but also gaming and art. Art is pretty much the Tezos domain, like the L1.
Mm.
But having collectibles and like that collaboration spirit, we wanted to bring it a little bit more to Etherlink as well. And we had a vibe codes category as well. So I think the industry is growing because vibe coders are there,
Mm.
and we could not, let's say, skip that part and pretend that, oh, we don't vibe code for blockchains. We just have like proper structured way of doing things. But no. Vibe coding is very important part of our industry in general now, and I'm very curious how it's going to evolve. And yeah, we had an opportunity to observe some wild, completely wild projects on in this category. But yeah, so I sat down with Encode Club and say, like, look, we need something. If you hear something, it's my dog. So there's a background noise. So it's my little doggy. So we sat together and said, like, all right, this is something that we could potentially explore. And I thought that, okay, the best moment for it is test dev, just to start it. TezDev is our like a yearly celebration and appreciation for the community. It's like a festival that you are waiting all year to see everybody that you normally see just remotely, and feel some sort of extra connection with them, and having as a decentralized community centralized in one place for a day or two. It's just so good. And it was my first test dev this year. um, and yeah, I thought, okay, so now we can give a little bit to the community and builders, so let's do this hackathon. And this hackathon was so amazing. It was a 1 month fully remote hackathon. And I was very curious, like, oh, normally we're doing like a weekend ones, so how you
Mhm.
have 2 days and just like people sit down and code. But this time I felt like, okay, let's give people enough time. It's summertime. Maybe some of them are students, then they have extra time. Maybe some of them work full time. And I know that there's a lot of people that, yes, they did work full time, and the evening they were coding. So yeah, it was really really good. And then we started observing the amount of people signing up, and then the projects coming in. So at the end of the hackathon, we had, I think, almost 100 projects.
Wow.
So when I saw the number and I saw like how good quality those projects are, I was so overwhelmed. Like, oh my God, I didn't expect that. I think it's a great problem to have.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was just amazing to observe how those numbers were growing. So almost 500 participants.
Wow.
So yeah, I think it's a big success in many different ways. And yeah, and in parallel, apparently there was the Unite DeFi hackathon organized by 1inch, and we had a track there as Etherlink. So I thought, all right, so we have two hackathons happening in parallel, but the 1inch was way shorter than the Summer of Code.
Mhm.
And yeah, but still we had quite few good entries and very good DeFi protocols coming in. So I think it's very good outcome of this as well. So it was very busy summer, like,
Yeah.
trust me.
Sounds like it.
I put it on myself and my colleagues. So but I knew it's worth it, and
Mhm.
I really hope that the builders will stay with us and have even more fun when we just support them in their growth, and we will have like more fun protocols on Etherlink.
And what did the number of entries and the quality of entries that you mentioned, what did that tell you about the current state of the Tezos ecosystem?
Yeah, for me, I need to admit that that was a big surprise for me, because I thought, yeah, we're gonna have a little bit less um, uh, projects, but I think flexibility that EVM, um, let's say, superpowers bring to Tezos by having EVM compatible layer two made a big difference. I think it's previously, when we tried to get people, let's say, run a hackathon just specifically for L1, there was a big a learning curve, because those is slightly different to other chains, and to get quickly up and running for creating simple dApp, there was a bit of learning curve.
Mm.
And it's way easier for people to use EVM tooling that they already familiar with, so there is no a learning obstacle at the beginning. So I think that's one of the key takeaways here. So of course you can literally get copy paste some templates from EVM world, but no, people were not doing it. They were just getting their ideas using our partners, because we also have a lot of ecosystem partners that provided a very very good perks for people, not only workshops, but also dedicated perks for the hackers. So third web, gold sky, redstone, and sequence. Also hanji joined as well, and we also offer google clouds credits, like I think $200,000 dollars worth of Google Cloud services were provided to our builders. So it's really, really good starter kit. And I think the ecosystem is growing because it's way easier to create not a basic dApp, but something that is really interesting and
Mm,
have a big, big potential.
okay. And I know you touched on this a moment ago, but what impact has Etherlink had on Tezos's decentralized finance ecosystem specifically?
I think huge. I think if I won't mention Apple Farm, that would be a big, big mistake. So Apple Farm is one of the most impactful initiatives for the ecosystem. And I can speak as a Tezos user and Etherlink user. For me, it's fun. Using DeFi on Etherlink is super fun. I'm not comparing it to L1 DeFi, because I think L1 is mature, it's more institutional, it's like a father and child relationship. That's how I see it. And using DeFi on Etherlink is exciting, it's fun. It's uh, way more gamified because of Apple Farm, and for person that is not into DeFi that much, I use it on daily basis because
Mm,
I'm curious. I want to see, okay, now we have another protocol. So why don't I just test it? Like today, I tested Gearbox. Previously, I put stuff on Superland. It's fun.
okay. This is all great stuff so far. I'm excited to learn more. But before we dive into the nitty gritty, are you ready for the world famous Tez Talks lightning round?
Absolutely. Always.
Fabulous. Then it is lightning round time. Remember, there are no wrong answers. This is just for fun so reviewers can get to know you a little bit better. Are you ready?
All right. I'm scared now. Go for it.
Are you a night owl or an early riser?
Night owl, but by choice, I need to get up early.
Okay. Exercise or naps?
Exercise for like last 2 weeks.
Pizza or sushi?
Sushi.
What's your favorite country to visit for a vacation?
Poland, my motherland.
There you go. If you were elected king of the world, what's the first thing you would do?
Um, oh wow, you shoot me on that. If I were a king, I would remove the borders.
Awesome answer. Name one thing you will never do again.
Drive for 24 hours, non stop.
Another good answer. What's the secret to happiness?
Love.
Beautiful. Do you have any? Well, we know the answer. You do have a pet. What is your dog's name?
His name is Appa, and he's right next to me. I'm trying to keep him quiet, so I pet him all the time.
I haven't heard him yet. And finally, what is your favorite thing to do on a rainy day?
Mm, oh, it depends if it's warm or cold outside. If it's warm outside, I get outside and smell the rain. If
Okay,
it's cold outside, I just stay indoor and have a tea with honey.
perfect. Those were excellent answers. This concludes the Tez Talks lightning round. Let's get back into it. Um, In general, are
Mhm.
you encouraged by what you've seen so far when it comes to Etherlink adoption in the larger blockchain ecosystem and its denizens?
Yes, absolutely. I went to Denver for the conference, and we had an Etherlink booth there. And Tezos is well known across blockchain realm, and I think bringing something new to the table is extremely challenging. There's a lot of different protocols, different innovations, and having a genuine community in um, let's say smaller ecosystem, starting from a ground, starting from maybe not zero, because of course we have the Tezos community already, but it's a big adventure. I think it's our situation is pretty unique in many different ways, but Etherlink is great. I think people create the vibe around blockchains as well. It's funny because tech it's tech, it's nothing else. It protocols. It's like it's piece of code, piece
Yeah.
of software that actually activate and motivate people to do certain actions like building or using it on daily basis. And as much as I love Tezos community, the OGs and people that are here since the beginning. I think one of the challenges is to get Etherlink users that are slightly different group of people on board. Like, okay, this is cool. Let's jump in and then let's play around it.
Mm,
Let's do something different. And of course, it's like a big degen community, and I think the impact that Etherlink has on Tezos, I think it's bringing completely different communities, different point of views. I think it's like I said, the DeFi is fun. The gaming, I think gaming is pretty big, and we had some big names coming and announced during test dev, and it's I'm not saying less mature, it's mature in different way. And I think it's more for people trying to explore DeFi, trying to explore gaming, like blockchain gaming. I think it's a different community coming and shaping the tech, that technology. And I think if a link is growing, Tezos is growing. It's the same thing.
mm, okay. And following on from Etherlink's unveiling, we've also recently seen the Seoul upgrade adopted by the Tezos
Mhm.
community. How many protocol upgrades does that make for Tezos now?
It's 19, yeah, it's 19. But about Seoul activation, so it's going to happen on 19th of September.
Okay.
So I think it's good to give you a little bit of a background story, because every proposal is being developed by core team. If that proposal is accepted by the community, because community can also come up with their own, and my role is to provide the features that are in this proposal, and just to listen to the community. And Seoul is quite unique because um, uh, it brings a lot of very useful features for our users, including native multi-sig accounts, aggregated attestations, and open and unstake finalization, which I'll maybe talk a little bit deeper in a second. But I think everybody was like, when we came up with those features and provided to the community, everybody was excited.
Mm,
They anticipated them, and I think it was fairly easy to convince people that okay, this proposal will work for the best of the ecosystem and community. And I think some of the challenges behind the scenes are invisible. So let's say, oh, these are the sets of the features, but people, they need to develop them, and core team is working very hard on this, and you cannot imagine how much pressure they have. Like it's flying the plane and improving the plane
mm,
when the plane is like in the air. So there was never a downtime. Whenever they activate new protocol, there's like we take a deep breath. Like I always wanted to have that live on YouTube or something. That's we sit together, like literally we sit together, like from all across the world at a certain time. We we know that it's gonna be fine, but we also get that kind of satisfaction, uh, that's we ship something together.
mhm,
I'm not we, but people that are actively contributing to the protocol as a programmers, which is amazing. But making it possible, making it live, is super exciting for the whole internal and external community. But I always watch the backdoor live that we have internally, and when the flag is appearing in the terminal after the successful upgrade, I was like, yes, it's really really nice, and I want community to see it from time to time. I think it would be an amazing event to watch, because there's a lot of things to celebrate, and there is a lot of moving parts, and it's not visible for the community, because it's a hard work of many developers, and to make it work, to make it live, it's truly amazing.
mm.
And soon we're gonna yet have another activation that is just happening. But I'm aware how much work and dedication and devotion from people that are truly passionate about Tezos, but also working with the protocol very closely, professionally, and it comes to life, and it's just beautiful.
Well, I would like to hear a bit more about the features that have come along with Soul, but before we get to that, like that process that you're describing, that you've just laid out for us, as you said, that has now happened 19 times,
Yeah.
right? So, what do you think we've learned about Tezos's governance structure and the community's participation in that governance structure through all of those 19 upgrades that we've seen voted on, accepted, in some cases not accepted so far?
Mhm. So what I've learned, I can talk from my perspective. I think there's a lot of passion about Tezos, and this, if you try to define Tezos as it is, as a simple blockchain, like it's just a technology, but it's not. I think it's people brainstorming about features, people brainstorming about what is needed, people brainstorming of what is bothering them, for example, and being very open and transparent. And we have a bunch of you know experts, but not only internally, absolutely not. There are people outside that deeply care about the project, and they also have the expertise to provide very valuable feedback. And oh, we need this, it would be good to have
Mm,
the other thing. And it's a conversation. I think the more we talk to each other and in more transparent way, we can push the project further. We can, okay, we have a vision, this is how we're following um, the vision Arthur, for example, and Tezos X as a very shiny north star that we are heading to. But we need to decide on the low stops, and I love the fact that every single protocol upgrades has a name, like of a physical place. And I think it's because it's a journey, and
Mm,
it's beautiful that the community and us, we're in this journey together. And it's sometimes, it's not always rainbows and butterflies, and it, how the decentralized world works. But everybody can have a voice, everybody can contribute, by saying like, okay, this is what is needed, we see it differently, for example. And it's absolutely fine. And the more creativity I see from the community, I'm happier. Like, all right, so this is something that you developed, you spend your time on it because you believe in the project and you want to make this project successful. And it's amazing. And some of those people, they have full-time jobs, and they do it as their, I'm not saying hobby, but something that is way more than just a hobby.
mhm. And to that end of completing that journey, we have the Soul upgrade as the latest one. So what are some of the most significant features in the Soul upgrade that you would like people to know about?
Yeah, so native multi-sig accounts. I think this is the most anticipated feature in this upgrade. And when we presented the feature to the community, the feedback was very, very positive. So it provides better security and flexibility for institutional users, and yeah, and other collectively managed accounts. So that's very important. The aggregated attestation, they pave the way to lower latency and faster finality for layer one, which will impact the whole ecosystem, all the L2s, etc., etc. So I think it's mainly paving the path by reducing the bandwidth required for the consensus operations. And last but not least, the we call it fin internally. So as you know, you can stake on Tezos, not only delegate but just stake. uh, so you get the staking rewards in a slightly different way than just rewards from the delegation. So in this process, if you would like to unstake your funds, there's that extra step to finalize your unstake your unstake function. Yeah, so we need to um, first of all request an unstake, and then finalize it. So Fin is a bot that will finalize it for you, so you don't have to remember that in the cycle 919 you need to finalize your unstake. Or it's just very useful for the end users. So we think that it's going to be beneficial, and you don't have to get to your wallet and oh, it's unstaked,
Mm,
full stop, so you don't have to finalize anything. So I think it's a very useful feature, and yeah, I think end users will appreciate it.
very cool. There is one more thing that you touched on earlier that I wanted to get to before we wrap up, and that is the call to action about bringing more bakers into the ecosystem. Why is it important to increase the number of bakers here in the Tezos ecosystem?
I think the most important part of it is decentralization. So we are fully decentralized project, and the more people are contributing into securing the network and making sure that it's fully decentralized, and we have bakers all over the world. I think it's super beneficial, and it's fairly easy to set up your bakery. It's fairly uh, simple to maintain it. But that's how I think the Tezos journey can begin for many people, because yes, you get the rewards. It's a little business, let's say. Sometimes it is a hobby. Sometimes it is, something that we can spend time after work. But I think getting involved into everything that is happening on Tezos can potentially start with your little bakery, even like using a little Raspberry Pi. Let me just, yeah, it's there. So you
That's
can
all it
start.
takes, eh?
Yeah, that's all it takes. You can just set it up and have it running next to your router at home, and get the reward. Some people are using different setups, but I think this one is a very nice one. And what else I would like to say about bakers, because the baker community is amazing, like full stop. And like I said, they're super supportive towards each other whenever anything is needed. The baker community is I think one of the most powerful communities in the whole ecosystem, and the amount of involvement they have in voting, the whole governance. And as you know, we have protocol upgrades every few months. We have Etherlink upgrades, and you can vote. You can shape. Um, the future of Tezos by contributing into not only the network, but the human power of the ecosystem by becoming a baker. So yes, if you and it's fairly good investment. I think all you need is just 6,000 Tez. But it can be delegated and staked by others. So we have some cool mates that have extra money and they want to run. Why not? Plus, there are also big names baking with us, and maybe we'll have some more big names. Why not? I think it's a great community to be in. So
Okay. And if somebody was interested in doing that, in becoming a Tezos baker, where's the best place for them to start learning about how to do that?
so soon we'll have a dedicated portal for bakers,
Okay.
and it's going to be not centralized, but a place where you can start. Now you can start with the documentation. There is a very very simple um, very simple tutorial on how to become a baker, and all those simple steps, the minimal requirements for your hardware, etc., etc. And if you would like to become a baker, you can always reach out to me or my colleagues directly on X, for example. And we can handheld you in the setup, and just show you what are the options and how much time and money you need to invest to get a certain amount of return.
Perfect. We could go on all day. I have
I
like
know.
15 questions that I didn't have time to get to, but unfortunately, we are coming to the end here. To all our viewers, thanks for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our social media contacts can be found at tezoscommons.org/TezTalks. We'd love to hear from you. Beata, thanks so much for joining us today. It's always awesome to speak to the folks helping support bakers and builders who make the Tezos ecosystem run. Is there anything else you'd like to mention before we sign off here?
Always a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm super proud to be part of this community. I'm super proud that we push the needle a little bit further, and to see it from, like you said, back kitchen is a big honor for me. But also being exposed to amazing people like you is also very motivating and keep us running. So thank you so much too, and your
Awesome.
community.
To everyone out there in Tezos land, thanks for joining us on TezTalks Live. I'm Stu from the Tezos Commons, and our awesome guest has been Trilitech's Beata Lipska. Now let's go get baking.
Yeah, bake today. Bye.